saying, we talked to somebody else who says, this guy, and when it's somebody you've never heard of, they're allowed to lie. It's something I still fail to understand how our Constitution really allows, but they are legally allowed to lie to you, to tell you that they know things that they don't know, to tell you that somebody else said something that person never said. And your best defense against all that, well, let me back up. Those are things that they say to you when you do not have a lawyer, because lawyers know that they are lying. And so your best defense against all of that is simply to say, I'll answer these questions when I have an attorney. Talk to my attorney. Because when we're in the room with you, we can say,
that's inappropriate.
That's inappropriate. That's baloney.
So you can stop them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's somebody in the background.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question about the banks.
Sometimes when you go to the bank, they ask you so many questions. I don't know those questions are related to the FBI or not. Should we answer them or not?
Give an example.
Yeah, what kind of questions are they asking you?
When you want to get some cash, if the amount is a little bit high, so they ask you why you want to get this much money, where you want to send it, why you are getting it, these kind of questions. I have a friend, she just got some cash from a bank, like a little bit more than 5,000. And after a week, FBI showed up in their front door. So
Wow.
she was surprised. She didn't know this is the...
This is the first I've heard of those kind of questions being asked at the bank, and I'd be interested to talk with you more about that and hear exactly what they've asked, because it's something that we would like to investigate.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Let me ask this question. Are they going to report to Homeland how much money I'm getting, where I'm putting my transaction, or no? Typical related. What kind of form they file.
If you sit close, it doesn't mean.
What do you say about body scanners, like for women? Because you never know if it's a guy or a girl, like watching your body and scanning you. What should we do? What should the woman do?
I can answer this. First of all, we've been outspoken against the body scanners. They're scans that produce a fairly detailed reproduction of a picture of the outside of your body without clothes on. The plan that they have at the moment is that none of those are required for primary screening. If you see that you are going into one, they're called millimeter wave scanners, or millimeter wave scanners is I think the predominant term. And if you see that you're going into one, you can ask for an alternate screening at the moment. It's troubling. It is deeply troubling, and it affects not only religious Muslims, but people of many religions. It's a common value across religions is modesty, and the idea of other people seeing an image of one's naked body is troubling to people of many religions, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, and it's something we're deeply troubled by. The protections that they have in place, that they say they don't retain the images. The person who actually looks at the images is in a different room, so never sees the person in real life. All they see is this kind of. They transform the image to be this ghostly. It looks like an X-ray, but still shows the image of the body. And they're working on ways to make it even less revealing, but it's still very troubling to us. At the moment, I would direct you to Brother Shakil's advice that you speak out against them and make clear that how strongly you object to them.
Yeah, in case of body scanners, Fiqh Council of North America, which is the Islamic Jurisprudence Council, which is comprised of all scholars from all schools of thought, have in fact given an edict, a fatwa, that these machines are unlawful for Muslim dignity. As a result, there were discussions with TSA and DHS both in Washington DC and other major cities, including here in Los Angeles, along with several faith groups of Abrahamic faith groups and Buddhist and others as well. TSA has now in a way revised its policy as follows. What they were trying to do is make these machines as the primary check when you go to the airport, and then secondary would be the metal detector. Now they have reversed it. The metal detector will remain the same, and then quote unquote randomly intelligence-led profiling. In other words, you look like a terrorist to me, Peter doesn't. Yes, so you will be randomly selected and you will be asked to go through the check. Now you have an option to say, I don't want to go under the machine, period. What they call a pat-down search. So they take you in a separate area, and then same-sex, male to male, and they will do the pat-down stuff. So this is extremely important, I think, for sisters particularly also, to make sure that under no circumstances you should go. And we insist that Muslims, for sure, it is literally unlawful. I have gone through that machine myself to experience here at LAX, and I know what it looks like. I have asked the person, the TSA deputy director who was with us, I said, I like you to go to the machine so I can see how you look on the monitor. She did not, and rightfully so. I mean, I respect her. But it helps for somebody to actually see that, and I'm very happy that you're cognizant of that it literally is a digital stripping of your dignity and honor. And outside of the other technical issues like Peter mentioned of the radiation, of whether those images can be stored, those images can be hacked in between by the time from the point where the image is captured to the point where the people are viewing it somewhere away, can that be interrupted, hacked in, and so on. And so there, besides all of those technical issues, the Muslim leadership has raised the issue on the moral aspect of it. And that you need to exercise, all of us, when we travel. And also suggest and request those of our relatives and friends who are flying from outside into United States. They fly from Tehran to New York, from New York to Los Angeles, then they don't know. So let them know ahead of time that if you go through, please do not go through those machines. Tell them that we need pat-down search. And if you have problems, let us know. And there is, in fact, I'm sorry to add this. There is information on this available on Shura Council website. The policy, their policy, and our position statement, both on shuracouncil.org.
First and foremost, I wanted to thank you for your time and consideration to coming and visiting and giving us all this information on my behalf, on my family's, and of everyone else that is here. Secondly, I had a question about, we tend to hear a lot about what to do at the airport, what to do if they come to your house, but as a student, what do you do with administration? What do you do with professors that give certain remarks? How do you interact with that? Can you file against them? Is there a certain procedure to stop? Because I've literally been in classes where they've either pinpointed you, they've shown videos, they've given false information, and I didn't know how to interact with that. Is there a law against that, or?
The first thing to do would be, if you feel like there are inappropriate comments that are given, if you're being treated differently than the other students, if you think that the professor is giving misinformation or is just or is biased or bigoted in some way, you can file a complaint with the university, And that would be the first step towards trying to find some kind of redress for whatever it is that you're experiencing.